Hi there. It's let's see. I don't know what day it is actually. I have to admit it's a Monday or Tuesday. It's a Monday, maybe a Tuesday evening. And being a sole entrepreneur sometimes make me lose track of time. Well, that's an excuse anyway. Yeah, it's a Tuesday. Let's say it's a Tuesday evening, sitting here by the water, pretty peaceful, pretty quiet. I wish it could be like this all year round. I'm certain it would be a whole other place. You see, in December, this place is so cold that essentially if you go outdoors, you die. Long story short, that's what happens. Okay, you can survive a bit for a bit longer if you walk around and try to keep in motion, but essentially, yeah, it's lethally cold here in winter. Anyways, I bought a ticket to Thailand, so I'm departing in 2 weeks, and I will check that out. I don't know, see what that is like. I have a return ticket with which I can stay for 2 months or even longer. So maybe I'll stay for a few weeks, or maybe I'll stay for 2 months. Who knows? I'm planning to go to the coast, like the south coast. Well, all the coast of Thailand is in the south, but not Phuket and those. That's maybe too far south. Or what do you think? If you, anyways, what am I talking about? Let's focus on what I'm supposed to be focusing on, i.e. technology. Look, there's a bridge over there. That's another type of technology. I don't know if you can see it in the cell phone, but there's quite a long bridge over there with pylons, or what do you call them? I guess bridges are just another type of technology. Obviously, it's it's not a web technology. It's like a physical, real-life technology. For hundreds of years, that was considered high tech. I guess it's still high tech. Building a bridge requires a lot of CAD designing, and I guess these days we do bridge building. I guess these days bridge building include a lot of computational work, but in the good old days, in the 70s, I bet they built those types of bridges using only paper, paper notes. I mean, well, you understand what I'm trying to say. I'm sorry if I sound a bit off the edge, a bit bleak, but that's how it is. I already made 1 or 2 YouTube videos today. This is the 3rd one. I went home, but anyways, technology, let's see. Yeah, have you heard about this nifty service called IFTTT? Check it out on ifttt.com. I feel like I'm giving away something too valuable here. Well, what's done is done. Forget about it. Check it out if you want. I'm not going to talk about it because it's actually a valuable service. And I tend to get a bit, how can I put it, tight with giving away this type of valuable information. So let's talk about some other less valuable. I'm hopeless. Anyways, let's talk about some other technology. Anyways, we have been talking about bridges. We have been talking about this new web service. Why are all technology companies based on the US web coast? Well, there are many historical reasons, I believe. One is that the Fed essentially is printing money on an unprecedented scale. I mean, the Fed has pretty much gone haywire, I think. But I guess they think as long as they'll keep on printing money for as long as they can. I mean, I think that's one reason. Yes, the Fed is pumping out money, and the EU and China cannot do that due to political reasons. the Chinese don't want to increase the value of the currency necessarily because they are an export country and Europe cannot print that many euros since there is no political unity. Well, political schmolitical. Let's get back to the story. Why are all the technology companies based on the US West Coast and well, I'm generalizing, but you know what I mean. You name it, they are all there. And especially San Francisco, you know, with all those lean startups with 3 or 4 people, 2 developers, 1 CEO, 1 web designer, making it big, you know, like Airbnb or Dropbox, a lot of those guys. Man, I'm envious. Well, I'm just kidding. They probably deserve it. But at the same time, it's frustrating, you know. What about the rest of us? We can't all go to San Francisco, can we? I mean, I could buy a ticket and go there, but somehow it doesn't feel right. I mean, the internet is supposed to be a decentralized thing, isn't it? So how come then that? All the IT companies are centralized in San Francisco / Silicon Valley? Doesn't make sense to me. Oh, I hope I haven't been making a lot of noise with the mic. I just noticed that it's been scraping against my jacket. So yeah, you have the cluster there, you have Silicon Valley, you have Fed printing money like there's no tomorrow. I guess those are, and obviously to some extent I do believe that there is the spirit of entrepreneurialism. You know, with the founding fathers leaving everything behind to go on the biggest venture of their life by moving to the US and starting new lives and so on. I'm just saying that's not all of the story, not necessarily. It's frightening being in Europe because there are so few entrepreneurs and the private sector is so weak compared to the public sector. It's really frightening. I talked to a lot of small companies in the US and they make money. They have contracts, they make money, and what's important is they make money from selling products and services to private customers or to other companies in the private sector. What's really scary, what is completely super frightening, for lack of a better word, is that so many companies in Europe have the public sector as their only source of income. So let's say on paper it looks decent. It looks like Europe has a reasonably sized private sector. But if you start looking into it, who do all these companies have contracts with? It's very scary if you start looking into it, because so many of them have contracts only with the public sector, and I would say then that actually makes them sort of, I don't know, public sector companies, not private companies. So if you start looking at it like that, I would say, like, I don't know, 75% or 85% of people in Europe get their income from the public sector as opposed to the private sector. So not only is the Fed printing out money and flooding the US with cash, which can be, you know, comparatively speaking, a good thing, I suppose, but also the private sector is much stronger in the US. At least that's my impression. I haven't made any scientific research on this, but so I visit Europe, if you're an American, and ask people where they work, I bet most people would answer they work in the political sector one way or another. To me, that's really frightening. I mean, all the products essentially are these days are produced in China, and all the tech services are developed in the US. What's Europe gonna do, really? It's like caught between a rock and a hard place. Maybe that's one of the reasons why I want to get out of here before the whole shizzle collapses. Or maybe I'm just a lunatic. That could also be the case, I have to admit. No, I'm just kidding. Don't get worried. I'm just trying to be funny here. I'm sorry, I'm in a bad mood. Oh, the worst thing about doing this, making these YouTube videos is I'm not gonna go back and edit out all the frogs and silly things and mistakes I say during the course of a recording session. So you know, it's all there in the raw, every word, as they say, as I think they say. I was going to talk about technology, not about politics. I hate politics, but technology I got nothing against, if I can generalize like that. But I guess sometimes, you know, these big businesses inevitably get involved with the political sector one way or another. So that's I mean, even if you are a decent company producing decent products, you still wind up making ties to the oh, I just saw a swan or something, making ties to a goose, I mean, making ties to the political sector. So, this is definitely my worst YouTube video ever. What I'm trying to say is, you know, companies on the size of Apple and Microsoft, they are so huge entities that that, you know, there has to be like a squadron, a small army of accountants looking into those companies and essentially controlling them. I sometimes have a feeling as an entrepreneur that well, let me rephrase that. You know what, this is I'm going to change the subject here for various reasons. Sorry about the sudden switch. So oh no, I lost my train of thought again. Hate when that happens. I got a headset now, so at least I think if people pass by, they just think I'm in a cell phone conversation. So I used a headset as a cover up. People might not realize that I'm in a YouTube conversation. They just think I'm sitting here talking in the cell phone with someone else. So back to technology. I was trying to start a company. I've been trying to start a company for quite a while. I could say that I've been trying to start a company for 15 years almost. I think the first time I got the idea to launch a company was when I visited my old man. He had a company, but I shouldn't tell you about that stuff, it's too personal. Anyways, I've been wanting to start a company for 15 years, let's say that. And I did start a company a month ago or so. The question is though, I mean, registering a company in Sweden, I'm not so sure if that's a good idea. From what I've understood, it might actually be a better idea to launch it in, to register it in Hong Kong or something like that. But then I believe I would have to move away from this country. But maybe that's what I mean. That's what the politicians want. These leftists, they don't want any entrepreneurs in this country. They think they are too unruly and difficult to control. You know, the social democratic swines. They have for 100 years at least tried to destroy all the traces of entrepreneurship in this part of the world. And I shouldn't get bitter. I know I sound a bit bitter, and most people wouldn't agree with me probably. So I shouldn't say this either. I always come today I tend to come up with ideas that I want to talk about, and then I realize, no, this isn't suitable for a public audience.